Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be going over the 7 best books on online marketing. Now this video is going to be perfect for you if you're looking to get into online marketing. Maybe you're starting up your own online marketing agency, maybe you're trying to market your own business online. All of these books are going to be extremely helpful along the way of you learning online marketing. Before we get into the video, let me quickly introduce myself and what the video is going to entail. I'm Ethan Schwant, an entrepreneur and a coach. I make book lists just like this one, where I not only pull out the 7 best books on a certain topic, but also the best quotes from those books. And I create mind map videos, which are 30 minutes to an hour long on one particular book to pull out some of the biggest and best ideas from that book to help you learn. I create the videos every single weekday, so consider subscribing. And with all that out of the way, let's get into our first book, which is a classic, Scientific Advertising by Claude C. Hopkins. Now, I pulled out some great quotes from this book, including, use pictures only to attract those who may profit you. Use them only when they form a better selling argument than the same amount of space set in type. It's very interesting. Some of these principles are working extremely well, especially in online advertising, but they've worked for quite some time. Remember, the people you address are selfish, as well as we all are. They care nothing about your interests or your profit. They seek service for themselves. Ignoring this fact is a common mistake and costly mistake in advertising. The best ads ask no one to buy. That is useless. Often they do not quote a price. They do not say that the dealer handles the product. The ads are based entirely on service. They offer wanted information. That's so true, especially in today's day and age. People just want their wanted information. They want what's in it for them, essentially. Now, book number 2 is Invisible Selling Machine, and this is the first book that I actually read when I first started my digital marketing agency. It's by Ryan Deiss of Digital Marketer. They have some great courses. I recommend that you go and check them out. He says that if I had to boil it down to the one thing that makes the most difference, it would be having a systematic way of getting sales. That's so true. This is what most marketers get wrong. They focus all their efforts on building an email list and almost no effort on how they're going to make money from that list once they have it. A potential customer has given you permission to contact them. This is a big deal. Now what? The first step is to teach your new prospect about you, your company, and your brand. You need to indoctrinate them. Who are you? What do you stand for? Why are you different? What should they expect from you? How often? And what should they do next? Very, very important to write that initial email sequence, especially. Now let's move on to book number 3, which is Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. You knew that this had to be on the list. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify them, vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some of us may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. Now, there's nothing inherently in that paragraph about online marketing, but it shows you what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to connect with your audience inside this book. Second quote, Robert G. Allen, the great real estate investor and coach, once said that he made millions doing real estate, but he made hundreds of millions teaching it. And that's a very important point, that teaching on the internet is a very, very big business. People want to learn. Book number 4, Ogilvy on Advertising in the Digital Age. Now, David Ogilvy, a very famous person in the advertising world. I believe that Mad Men, the TV show, was actually based on David Ogilvy. I do not recommend advertising as entertainment or as an art form, but as a medium of information. When I write an advertisement, I do not want you to tell me that you find it creative. I want you to find it so interesting that you buy the product. The headlines which work best are those which promise the reader a benefit. So important, especially nowadays. Everything is about headlines. Tell your prospective client what your weak points are before he notices them. This will make you more credible when you boast about your strong points. And then he says only amateurs use short copy. He's known for writing very, very long letters and copy. Book number 5 is by Seth Godin. It's Permission Marketing. Seth Godin, one of the key pioneers of marketing nowadays. Creating value through interaction is far more important than solving a consumer's problem in 30 seconds. Frequency led to awareness. Awareness to familiarity. and familiarity to trust. And trust, almost without exception, leads to profit. It's very interesting. It's much more about leading to trust and getting people to trust you on the internet more than anything. They're building an asset that has nothing to do with brand and everything to do with their relationship with you. He says permission marketing is just like dating. It turns strangers into friends and friends into lifetime customers. Many of the rules of dating apply, and so do many of the benefits. With that, we'll move on to our next book, which is book number 6, Influence by Robert Cialdini. Now, this is important in any advertising, but especially in online advertising. Often, we don't realize that our attitude towards something has been influenced by the number of times we have been exposed to it in the past. That's kind of the recency effect, and also the amount of time that you put your information in front of someone is very, very important. There is a natural human tendency to dislike a person who brings us unpleasant information, even when that person did not cause the bad news. The simple association with it is enough to stimulate our dislike. The idea of potential loss plays a large role in human decision making. In fact, people seem to be more motivated by the thought of losing something than by the thought of gaining something of equal value. That's very important when you're writing your hooks in your advertising copy. And we'll move on to our final book, which is book number 7, Building a Story Brand. So many of my friends have recommended this book to me that are in marketing, by Donald Miller. Some of the quotes that we pulled out. First, in every line of copy we write, we're either serving the customer's story or descending into confusion. We're either making music or making noise. Very interesting way to put it. Here is nearly every story you see or hear in a nutshell. A character who wants something encounters a problem before they can get it. At the peak of their despair, a guide steps into their lives, gives them a plan, and calls them to action. That action plan helps them avoid failure and ends in success. It's very interesting. I mean, almost everyone marketing nowadays uses that same exact story. People trust those who understand them, and they trust brands that understand them too. Very, very good book. A lot of my friends recommended it to me, and I recommend you pick it up yourself. Now, at the end of the video, again, I'm Ethan Schwantz, an entrepreneur and a coach. I make book lists just like this one and mind map videos every single weekday. So consider subscribing, and if you want to support the channel, there's courses and coaching available at the links down below. With that, I'll leave you with a couple of mind map recommendations, and hopefully I'll see you in another video.